Welcome back to a walk through the tarot. Today the Fool meets card 3, the Empress. An Earth Mother archetype, her world is all that fruits and flowers. The air is warm and the Fool can hear the sound of water. The Empress seems regal, yet approachable, and after the cool silence of the High Priestess, the Fool feels drawn to her. We're going to look at the background of this card, explore its symbolism, and examine the lessons she might hold for the Fool as he continues his walk through the tarot. In early tarot decks, the Empress wore the imperial crown of leadership, and she had a sceptre of authority as well as a shield bearing the eagle, a symbol of the Roman Empire. The epitome of female power and authority, she also provided a balance alongside her more authoritarian and patriarchal husband, the Emperor. She stayed this way until French occultists in the 18th and 19th centuries suggested tarot had more esoteric roots. Antoine Comte de Gebelin and Atelier were the first to associate the Empress with ancient mythical goddesses connected to fertility and nature, while Eliphas Levi in the 1800s linked her to a vision of the Queen of Heaven from the Bible's Book of Revelation. This described a woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and wearing a crown of stars. Levi's ideas influenced others, such as the Swiss occultist Oswald Wirth, whose Empress retains her shield and sceptre, but now appears part Empress and part angel. At the beginning of the 20th century, Arthur Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith introduced further changes. Oswald Wirth's moon was removed and given to the High Priestess card, while the shield with its imperial eagle was replaced with the astrological symbol for Venus, the Roman goddess of love and sex, alongside beauty and pleasure. She was linked to the story of Demeter, whose daughter was Persephone, stolen away by Hades, ruler of the underworld. Heartbroken by her absence, Demeter neglected her goddess duties. Harvests failed, famine spread, and all sacrifices to the gods ceased. Zeus was forced to intervene. He sent Hermes to negotiate, but Hades had persuaded Persephone to eat some pomegranate seeds, and this bound her to him. So a compromise was reached. Demeter could have a daughter for half the year, but she would remain in the underworld for the other months. In mythology, the story told the origin of the seasons. Spring and summer marked Persephone's time with her mother, while during the autumn and winter she would return to Hades. The Empress herself was now the personification of the natural world. She's taken the creative energy of the magician to manifest growth and harvest, and represent the ongoing cycles of birth, death and rebirth or renewal. She is fertility, maternity, nurture and fulfillment. The Fool is attracted to the life and colour of this card. After the cool quietness of the High Priestess, he's relieved to find someone with a friendly face and looks forward to hearing what she has to say. But first, let's take a closer look at the symbols on this card. Everything suggests abundance and sensuality. Even her stone throne, a symbol of power demonstrating her control over the natural world, has been softened with drapes and cushions. Red is the colour associated with desire and passion, while orange is the colour of the second chakra, the centre of creativity and pleasure in the body. The Venus glyph is an ancient sign for women, and her sceptre is a symbol of her authority over nature. The 12 stars on her crown might represent the signs of the zodiac or months of the year. They are a visual extension of her rule over time and the universe. She is Empress, or Queen of the celestial heavens, as well as the earth. Her loose dress indicates pregnancy and is covered with pomegranates, like the temple veil of the High Priestess. Pomegranates were ancient symbols of fertility, and here the Empress can be seen as permanently birthing the natural world, with all its cycles of death and renewal. Behind her, a stream falls into a river. Water constantly moves with a force of its own, and it's an essential element of life. Where there is water, there's growth, and the river runs through a lush forest. The tree to the right of the card is shaped like a pine cone. This is an ancient symbol. It can be found on Assyrian stone carvings where winged gods are depicted holding pine cones, and in other mythologies where the staffs carried by Osiris and Dionysius were topped with pine cones. The pine cone traditionally represents immortality, fertility and rebirth. Some have suggested it resembles the pineal gland, long associated with the third eye, the seat of the soul, or the stimulus for second sight or psychic power. Let's look at some of the messages the Empress might have for our Fool. In the previous cards, the Magician told the Fool that nothing comes from nothing. You are what you do, while the High Priestess reminded him of his own duality and the need to discover his inner self. The Empress is a reminder of the energy that fuels matter and of the eternal principles of life. An archetypal mother, offering nurture and sustenance, she has always been present and wants the Fool to take more notice of what is all around him. He hasn't thought much about nature. It's always been there and he takes it for granted, but now it's time to notice the beauty in small things. How light splinters on water, drops of dew hung from a spider's web, or the intricate complexity of snowflakes. They all represent the touch of the Empress, and the Fool needs to find ways to experience her power and glory. The Empress can be the fulfillment of plans or ideas coming to fruition, a reminder that harvest is the result of hard work and how the reward can be so well worth the effort. She is ageless, and because she birthed the universe, her life force runs through every living thing. The Fool has to see this connection, how we all share the same source of consciousness, so any bitterness or hatred towards others can only harm ourselves. Alter perspective and your view of the world changes. Times may seem hard, but we still have the power to change our attitudes. An archetype of motherhood, the Empress represents unconditional love and forgiveness. But, as with all tarot cards, she contains within herself the binary oppositions, and these might include neglect, sickness and grief. Regal, yet maternal, she has hard lines as well as soft edges. There's no avoiding her duality. The Empress can be a barren landscape or hostile womb, those who live their lives cut off from the natural world, existing within it, but never looking up at the mountains or stars. She can signify a retreat from emotion, rejection, loss, or self-indulgence taken to extremes. The Empress reminds us that parenting might not be easy. As Demeter, she knows about grief through absence, and how children sometimes choose darkness. But regardless of how tough it gets, she's there to remind the Fool that life goes on. The greatest danger is when we only notice her absence or feel the extremes of disasters like earthquakes or tsunamis. Without retaining balance, the natural world will die. But if the Empress appears at a time of despair, she's a reminder of hope. We might mourn what has changed, but her world will continue to turn and the sun will rise each morning. After the vitality of the Magician and the strangeness of the High Priestess, the Empress helps the Fool to feel more optimistic. The next archetype he will meet on a walk through the tarot is card 4, the Emperor. Here the Fool will encounter power and authority again, but through a different, more patriarchal and material lens. So, join us as we take the next step on the journey.